Live from Romney Stadium on the campus of Utah State University, it's the Aggies of Utah State playing host to the Weber State Wildcats. Hi, everybody. Alongside Jay Taylor, I'm Trey Bender. Glad you're with us. Two programs coming off near upset wins last week. Utah State giving Auburn everything they wanted. Weber State a little bit short at Wyoming. Despite those losses, Jay, there's a sense here that they could have breakthrough seasons.
I believe so. When you look at what Weber State went up into Wyoming, they want to win the Big Sky, and part of that was playing Wyoming tough. Not only did they play them tough, they felt they should have won that game. It was their youth and inexperience that caused them to lose that game. And then when you look at Utah State, they went into SEC country and beat up on, and let me repeat that again, beat up on Auburn, should have had that game. They gave it away. They understand that, but that's why they're excited. They feel they can win the WAC because of the way they played last week.
Reason for the optimism, first-year starting quarterbacks. Mike Hoke, breakthrough game in his debut.
When you look at the stats of what he did last week, he was 19 of 28 for 314 yards, 2 passing touchdowns. The thing that stands out to me, though, is the 91 yards rushing. Because of those rushing yards, that makes defensive coordinators nervous because you have to honor his legs along with his arm.
And a star in the making is Chucky Keaton at Utah State, National Freshman of the Week honors against Auburn.
What can you say about Chucky? Here's a true freshman that steps into the Lions' den, takes the team on his shoulders. Not only did he have 70% completion on passing, but he rushed for 2 touchdowns, wasn't scared of that Auburn defense, and it's that excitement level and that energy that he feels that he possesses to this team, and he's going to help them win the WAC. And if he plays the way he did last week, they have no problem getting that done.
A beautiful evening weather-wise leading up to the last half hour, and all of a sudden isolated thunderstorms, as you can see in the distance here in northern Utah. Beautiful setting in the Cache Valley, and we hope to dodge the weather for this in-state clash between the Aggies and the Wildcats. Gary Anderson has done a tremendous job, though. When you look at the record, it hasn't really bore that out. Last year, a victory over BYU, building this program, trying to make a name for Utah State as a football program. We had some tough defeats, included last week at Auburn, losses to Oklahoma and Texas A&M in close fashion, but he believes that these are the building blocks in terms of getting this program to the next level. Taking over in his third year and facing a guy that is close to his heart, a guy he played and coached under, Ron McBride. 20th season overall, 7th at Weber State, turned 72 in October, and he's not slowing down. He's the 6th oldest active head coach in Division I football, innovative on offense, and the kids love him. He coaches with a passion, his kids play with a passion as well.
And that's what you want out of your head coach, is that fire and desire, and he doesn't lack that at all. It's that kind of energy that helps you get up for games like Wyoming and coming into Utah State and try to knock somebody off for your program.
Well, these teams are in-state rivals and separated by just 46 miles. But when you look at the series history, they haven't met since 2001. Utah State has dominated. They had a big shootout victory, 56-43 in one of those matchups. But the coaching connection runs deep, assistants on both sides. Both know these guys, Coach Anderson and Coach McBride, and it makes for a very interesting setting.
It will make it very interesting during the game because they know the tendencies of what the coach likes to do. And we'll have to see in the play calling how much of that translates into either Utah State shutting down Weber or maybe Weber State taking advantage of that, pulling some wrinkles out that they may not have seen before.
Jacob Powder has it teed up, and you're looking at Chris Parham, who doubles as a running back, and we're underway from Logan, and that's over Parham's head. Big kick by Howder out the back, and the Wildcats will start at the 20-yard line. We talked about Mike Hoke and his impressive debut in Laramie, Wyoming, trying to fill the void left by a 4-year starter in Cameron Higgins, who's the school's all-time passing leader. And Hoke, a guy that Coach Mack said he expected him to play well last week, and he delivered.
This kid delivered in the best way, not only with his arm, but with his legs. And as I said in the open, defensively, that gives you fits because you don't know what this guy's going to do. You have to play him truly honest.
Traditional offense, fullback and running back. This is Josh Booker on the first carry, and a couple yards tackled by Gallagher at the 22-yard line. This Wildcats offense is very balanced. They want to run the ball first. That's their mentality. But they have the ability to stretch the field. The strength of the team is up front, though. Orem is an offensive captain, one of the top guards at the FCS level. This time, an offset look in the backfield. 2 receivers from the gun for Hoke. Swings it out to Booker. Tries to get the edge, and he's tackled from behind at the 27-yard line. Let's take a look at the Wildcats' backs and receivers, the skill people, and Quijano is a guy they look to often, but Booker is coming off a career best, 117 yards on the ground at Wyoming. They will spread the ball around. There's a look at Booker, 6 foot 215 out of Oklahoma City. As the Wildcats face a 3rd and short. 4 receiver look. Booker straight ahead, and he's hit near the first down stick. Bobby Wagner was in there. Maurice Alexander as well, and it's going to be close, just across the 29.
That is a gutsy call, but he is a coach that likes to go straight forward, run the ball north and south, believes his offensive line can't convert. They just didn't get it done that time because they ran up against old Bobby Wagner, who's a solid NFL prospect.
And just a little bit short, half a yard, and it'll force the punt team out there. Josh Kialamakia, the sophomore from Syracuse, Utah, just down the road. Eric Motes standing back at the 35 for Utah State. So the home team gets a stop. Kialamaka with that sprint out and kick on the run. It'll hit at the 38. Takes a sideways hop. And with the wind blowing, it finally dies at the 35-yard line. So the Aggies have the football for the first time, and it's a chance to take a closer look at Chucky Keaton. He really impressed a lot of people nationally with his effort at Auburn last week. Believed to be the first Aggie freshman in the modern era to start a season opener. He did not disappoint. He plays with a swagger, a confidence, but not a cockiness.
And that's what you have to have. I call it the 2 C's. You want to be confident, not cocky, because confident people know what they can do and operate well within it. Cocky people try to do things that they can't get done.
They're going to go empty backfield this time. We're going to see Turbin at the running back spot, but this time a 5-receiver set and a handoff on the end around to Michael Smith. Flag is thrown, and Smith, one of the running backs who'll rotate, is taken down near the first down stick by Willie Aquanu, but a couple penalty flags to sort out here.
Not the way you want to start the game on an offensive penalty if it looks like.
Jim Farmer, our lead referee, they will back him up. Up front, Coach Anderson loves this unit. He thinks it's the best he's had here. Remington watch list guy and Larson at the center spot. And they have some very athletic guards as well. Matt Austin, WAC Newcomer of the Year candidate a year ago, had a season-ending knee injury at Oklahoma. They expect big things from number 4. First down and 17 now after the penalty. Keaton setting up the screen. Into the hands of Jacobs, and he is walloped. Nick Webb, the senior from Salt Lake, put a big hit on him.
And that is not the way you want to start the game if you're Utah State. Get a holding penalty, and then you try to run a receiver bubble screen, and Nick Webb's going to come up in there and blow that thing up.
Webb is one of their leaders, 4-year linebacker, 37th career game, one of the co-defensive captains along with Morales. Second down now and 21. Here's Turbin. And the WAC Player of the Year candidate gets some of that yardage back to the 33-yard line. Aquanu on the tackle. Defensively for this team, Weber State, they're active up front. Strong, deceptive guy in the middle in Sagapua Telly White. There's Morales and Webb, but Neal is very active as well as strong side linebacker. And Aquanu, their leading tackler, a career-high 10 tackles, led the team against Wyoming. Third down and 12 now. Keaton sets up the screen into the hands of Morrison. Nowhere to go. Great pursuit from the Wildcats, and you can see the lateral speed down the line. Even the defensive tackle, Pete Rolfe, able to get there quickly.
And right now, Weber State is playing at a higher level than Utah State. They're coming out there focused and with energy. You have to watch out. It's called the puncher's drunk punch, because both these teams played well last week. We got to see who's still staggering left over from the losses.
Tyler Bennett Jr. out of Phoenix with a low line drive kick with a wind behind him. Kicks it away from Marcial, and it'll be down inside the 5 line. Nice play made by Nevin Lawson, and that's how you execute on special teams. Tyler Bennett with a nice play, pinning them deep in their own end. Cats second possession, this time deep in their own end at the 4-yard line after that punt pins them back there, and they'll go to work. With the eye set, Tolatau and Booker behind Mike Hoke. And handoff to Tanner Hines, who's in for Booker at the running back spot, and he gets nothing. Runs into a stone wall at the line of scrimmage. This is a team that would like to rush the football, and Coach McBride said, we want to hit you in the mouth and slug it out if we can. They might have tough sledding against a tough front wall.
Well, in order to run effectively, you have to commit to it, and that's one thing Coach McBride talked about, and they're stick with it. His system, he believes him. Hit somebody in the mouth, and that's what you do in a running game, and that's what he's trying to get done right now.
He jumped on his kids after the loss to Wyoming. He said they were hanging their heads, feeling sorry about the loss to Wyoming. One they let get away. He says, don't dwell on the past. Here they are on second down now. Hoke in some trouble, and he just gets rid of the football. Great pressure up the middle. Tavita Viafu was in the end zone. Let's check defensively this Aggies team. The strength of this club is in their front seven. Fili Moiatu is a junior college transfer All-American out of West Valley City. But the guys in the middle are key. Gallagher and Wagner. Wagner, the WAC preseason Defensive Player of the Year, the anchor of the defense. 29th straight start. One of the best in the history of this conference. And Brady, a leader in the secondary at the free safety spot. 3rd and 10. Hoke going sideline with this one, overshoots his intended receiver. He wanted Xavier Johnson, and now the Wildcats will have to punt it from deep in their own end zone. Robertson on the coverage.
The freshman tried to get deep. He was actually open a little bit, was overthrown. Those are two passes I know Hoke would like to have back. The play right before that, he had the receiver open on the curl, but he took too long to get the ball out. That's what preceded the bad throw and scrambling around. This defense right now of Utah State, they switched up to a 3-4. They're keeping that pressure and allows a lot of confusion for opposing quarterbacks.
Kialamakia back of his own end zone to punt this one away. Low end over end. Kerwin Williams is going to let it hit at the 45 and bounces away from him and into Aggies territory. And then it takes a big roll down to the 36-yard line. Williams, a guy you don't want to let touch the football if you're Weber State, and that time didn't have an opportunity.
He has a lot of all-purpose yards. He can kill you in the special teams as well as coming out of the backfield, and that's a dangerous guy to have on your team. And the opposing team is realizing that because right now the coverage has been good. They're keeping it away from him. They're kicking it low, and they're making him have to really work to think about if he wants to pick that ball up or not.
Spread offense from Utah State. They'll show a lot of different looks. This time 4 receivers and Robert Turbin, their vocal leader in the backfield just to the left of Chucky Keaton. Good field position to start things. Keaton will throw to Turbin out of the backfield. Makes one man miss for a moment and then tackled at the 39-yard line. Caldwell Taylor stayed with him, the junior from Deweyville, Utah, short gain.
That is an impressive tackle right there because Turbin most times, 9 times out of 10 in open field, he's going to make you miss if he doesn't run you over. So that's a nice open field tackle right there.
They will rotate Turbin and Michael Smith and Kerwin Williams in the backfield. This time, Smith and Turbin in there, and a 2-receiver look on second down. Steps up through the hands of Austin, a little bit behind him and incomplete.
You can see some anxiousness right now on both sides of the ball. The quarterback's got a little bit of happy feet. They got to just be patient, allow these reps to develop. He threw that ball right there behind him instead of in front. If he throws it in front a little bit, Austin's still running with the ball, I believe.
3rd down, 7 from the 39. This time, a single tight end. Lloyd is on the field. Option game. Keaton's going to keep it, and the Wildcats read it well. 2 yards, and that's it to the 41-yard line. Mo Neal was there, and the thing about both of these teams, they are well coached, well schooled in their assignments, and that was great assignment football on the defensive side.
That was what you call shutting down the triple option. They sat there and saw what was coming, and in order to stop the option, you talked about discipline, Trey. Each person has to stay in their lane. That's exactly what they did, and they were able to shut that play down.
Bennett from his 30-yard line Again, kicks away from Marcial, out of bounds, and another beauty for Tyler Bennett. He's been one of the stars here in the early going, and they marked that one out at the 7-yard line. Neither offense able to make a dent here in the early stages. 8:22 to go in the first quarter, and they're going to start this next possession at the 7. Welcome back to Logan. We're scoreless. No score, but Utah State winning the field position battle. Couple punts pinning the Wildcats back inside their 10. They'll start this series from the 7. Hoke will hand it off. Running to the left for a short gain as Doty makes the tackle. As Weber State brings Collins into the game. They've used 4 running backs this year, but Barrington Collins gets his first carry, a true freshman out of Corona, California. He picks up 3 on that one. Hoke changing it up at the line now. Junior from Kailua, Hawaii, 9 games, a backup to Cameron Higgins a year ago. Pressure coming. Delivers under pressure, and it's almost intercepted. Nevin Lawson had a chance at that one, and now a flag comes in late, a late hit, I believe, on the quarterback. And this is going to cost the Aggies.
Mike Hoke saw the blitz, got that ball off, got hit in the process, but that's one thing you like out of your quarterback.
77, hands to the face. That is a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Hands to the face on Al Lapuaho, a junior from West Valley City.
As he comes in right here, you cannot. That's hard to see right there. I think that's a mix-up.
Well, that was Alexander going low, the linebacker, but Lapuaho happened to be in the area. But regardless, 15-yard penalty gets him out of some trouble. First down now at the 25 for the Wildcats. Hoke delivers, diving attempt, and that's a catch by the tight end, Brian Jankowski. His second catch of the season, a beauty.
That is a good catch. He stuck his hands out there. It was a little out of his reach, sold out for it, got the ball, and that's what you need on the road. You got to make plays when you're not at home, especially when the offense right now is a little bit sluggish.
Returning starter, tight end, short gain. 2nd and 8 now, Wildcats at the 27. Hoke from the gun, pressure coming, and he airs this one out, nobody in the area. I think miscommunication there with Xavier Johnson, the wideout.
They both saw blitz, but Hoke was thinking on the blitz the receiver's going to release up the field and run a go route. The receiver's thinking he's still sticking with the route, running a stop route. That's something that'll get worked out as the season progresses.
Meanwhile, Coach McBride continues to rotate fresh bodies in there. Darshawn Taggart, freshman from Bountiful, Utah, into the game, along with Munchie Shuford, a true freshman from Fontana, California. A lot of young skill position players seeing some action here on the road. Hoke on 3rd and long. Zips one through the hands of Johnson. That would have been good enough for the first down. They'll have to punt it away.
Johnson, the freshman receiver, had such a great game last week. He's trying to continue it on right now, but the first rule of thumb is you cannot run without catching the ball. You have to hold on to the ball first, secure the catch, and you can see right here Hope does a nice job, sees the one-on-one coverage, gets the ball out. You got to look the ball in there, young man. You have to watch it all the way in. He was trying to run, and you can see he has a little jaw match going on with Robinson right there.
Weber State with a little bit of breathing room, though, because of that penalty, and the kick by Kialamakia, a high one, and Williams is bumped as the ball goes by him. No penalty flags, and that's going to take a Wildcats roll down to the 18-yard line. Fans here don't like it. They wanted the flag, not going to get it. And the Aggies will have the football back at the 18-yard line when we come back, scoreless in Logan. Midway through the first quarter, a defensive struggle here between Weber State out of the Big Sky and Utah State out of the WAC. This is an Aggies team that put 448 yards on the board last week at Auburn, having a tough time against a physical Wildcats defense here in the first quarter. From the 18-yard line after the punt, Keaton will go to work. Kerwin Williams, the speedster, cuts it up, and then he's gang tackled at the 25-yard line. You better contain Williams. David James, the right corner on the tackle. This guy has sprinter speed, also dangerous as a returner.
And you can see that, and what's happening right now is Coach Anderson is saying, hey, all right, let's slow this down. Let's just get a hat-on-hat and block the ball like my coach that I learned from, and it's a straight run play, and they get outside and get positive yards. Now you got 2nd and short.
2nd and 3 now at the 25. This time Lloyd, the tight end, shifting in motion. Handoff and a seam for Michael Smith. He's loose. Smith to midfield. And he can't keep his balance, and he'll be marked out of bounds at the 46-yard line. Tony Epperson, the free safety, finally catches up to him. But Smith, one of 3 running backs they use, breaks off a big one.
Not only did he break off a big one, he ran right out of his shoes. He sees the hole on the backside. It cuts back. Offensive line does a nice job of sealing that off. The rest is just his ability, a little bit of poor tackling. But that is what you want. You want to run like that when you're struggling, get things going. Good vision, that right side of the line with Lloyd, Schultz, and Napaloo clearing the way for him.
First down at the Wildcats' 46-yard line, and now a reverse into the hands of Stanley Morrison. He looked like he wanted to throw. Now he'll tuck it and run. Morrison with a nifty move, and he's down inside the 30-yard line. Pickup of 18 and a first down. David James again on the tackle.
That is all individual achievement, wanting by Morrison to get that positive yards. Juking people left and right, getting it first down.
Morrison and Smith, by the way, both injured last year along with Robert Turbin. They lost a lot of firepower that they expected to have a year ago. Well, they're back on the field this year for the Aggies. Here's a delay to Turbin, slanting left. Inside the 25, and all of a sudden they are running downhill. Pickup of 7 on first down.
This defense is starting to wear a little bit. The energy level was there. They had great lanes, but right now you're seeing that integrity start to slip a little bit. This big offensive line of Utah State's trying to impose their power on this drive.
Mo Neal on that last tackle. They'll mark him inside the 23-yard line. 2nd and 4. This time Turbin met in the backfield and dropped for a loss. Good job knifing in that time, as they had Caldwell Taylor, the junior end, in the backfield in a hurry.
Caldwell making up for that last play. He's the one that Morrison juked in the backfield to get the long yardage. So he used that situation right now to get a tackle and save a big play.
There they go. Aggies again in the hurry. Up 3rd and 5 now after the 1-yard loss. And Keaton doesn't like what he sees. He's going to call a timeout. Nearing the red zone. You know, the thing they love is his composure as a freshman and his leadership skills. And, you know, didn't hesitate there. Knew exactly what to do and set up for the big 3rd down.
Since this game started, I've just been watching his body language and demeanor. He's talking to the guys, getting them in the right position on all pre-snaps, telling guys what they're supposed to do, and that's what you want out of your quarterback. But this is what you call football IQ right now. The fact that he saw defense, he's a young freshman. Some freshmen would have just went with the play. He's like, no, this play is not going to work. Let me go to the sideline, get a different play. And that's why this team's excited, because when you have somebody that's that young but that wise, the sky is the limit.
Well, and when you hear Coach Anderson say stuff like, we're in very good hands at quarterback, I love Chucky Keaton. I've loved him since I walked into his living room. You know the kid's in for an excellent career here in Logan. After the timeout, 3rd and 5 at the 24. Smith now in the backfield. Keaton has time. Fires for the end zone. And it is dropped at the 2-yard line. Diving attempt made over there. Devin Pugh on the coverage on Travis Reynolds. He couldn't hang on.
That was an underthrown ball going to the corner route. Got to make that catch, though, when you have a chance where he hits you right in your hands and your chest. The ball should have been put out a little bit more. He had to stop. Defensive player goes up. All that effort still almost comes up with the ball.
Josh Thompson on for a 41-yarder. Has kicked just one, a 34-yarder last week at Auburn from the left hash. Does he have enough leg? He does. Just over the crossbar, and the Aggies strike first here on home turf. Josh Thompson, local kid from Logan, make 3-0 Utah State. the hurry-up offense, I think, really helped him on that series.
And coaches, you'll notice, will do that. The offensive coordinator, Dave Baldwin, said, okay, we're struggling a little bit. What's the best way to get guys to concentrate? Let's go 2 minute. Let's speed up the tempo of the game. It makes guys focus because the plays are starting to come quicker. And as you saw in that drive, they put together a good drive. They faltered there on the third down. The execution was there. I should say the play caller was there. The execution was not, because that should have been a touchdown if Chucky had just put the ball a little bit out there. But I was watching in warm-ups. They were a little bit off on their long throws. We'll see if that cleans up as the game goes on.
Well, and if there was a knock on Chucky Keaton, it's that he is developing the arm strength, the ability to see coverages, throw the ball downfield. How good will he be when he does find that? Because he has all the tools.
This kid's going to be great when he gets all that, because the long ball is really a touch throw. That's the hardest thing for college kids. Even NFL quarterbacks, you hear about that a lot. You got to be able to sail that ball just right, understand the speed of the person you're throwing it to so that he doesn't miss a stride.
58-yard drive. They get the field goal from Thompson as Howder has it teed up at the 30. Into the end zone, and coming out of the end zone is Chris Parham across the 20 and tackled at the 25-yard line. Joe Hill, the redshirt freshman, on the tackle for the Aggies. Well, Weber State's defense has performed well here in the first half. Offense, they haven't been able to get anything going, and it's not easy when you start 2-year drives inside your own 10-yard line.
That makes it very hard when you're on the road on top of that. But they've been very disciplined in the fact that they've stuck and committed to the run, and I expect that's what they're going to keep doing in hopes that it will break open.
Tolatau, the big fullback, in front of the running back Booker. Play action for Hoke. He's going to tuck it, and he's hammered as the pursuit was coming from Utah State. Connor Williams, the Canadian, the sophomore end, tracks him down from the backside.
That's a simple bootleg. Defense did an excellent job of keeping the receivers in front of him, not allowing him to throw, and all he could do was tuck it and try to run.
Now, Wildcats are going to go hurry up here, see if they can change the pace, the rhythm of this game a little bit. Single back in 4 receivers. On second down, blitz is coming. Hoke into the hands of Shuford. Munchie makes a move and moves the football up to the 29-yard line. 4 yards, it'll set up a third down from there. Walter McClinton, the free safety and all-conference candidate on the play.
I'm loving both of these defense right now. They are swarming to the ball. They're making the offense have to work for every yard, and that's what it's going to take to win this kind of game, especially when they both lose games last week that they knew they should have won. You have to come out and play and fire like this.
3rd and 6 now. Anderson's defense is known in the past as being blitz happy. Let's see if they come after him right here. Hoke, incomplete, flag's coming. That was intended for Austin Rott, and they were draped all over him. Jumani Robertson, one of those guys.
Robertson got there, it looks like a little too early. As a DB, that's always hard when you're planting and driving, trying to make a break on the ball, and the receiver stops at his point.
Pass interference, defense number 13. Spot foul, automatic first down.
And so when he stops like that, it makes it hard because you run right up his back.
First down at the 34-yard line. Wildcats trying to take advantage of that penalty here, trailing 3-0. Late stages first quarter. Hoke under center this time. Running right, Booker. Nowhere to go. Danced a little bit to try to find a seam. Nothing there. Quinn Garner shut it down, the 3-year guy at the defensive end spot.
Matt Hammer, the offensive coordinator for Weber State, right now he's going to have to figure out a way to create some seams. They've had some passes there. This offensive line is trying to hold up, but right now that run game is just being stopped before it even gets started.
And this is an offensive line that Coach McBride loves. Good continuity, tight group, he said. Started together last year. They have their hands full with an active Aggies defense. 2nd down and 9. Hoke over the middle. And it's Shuford going low to get it. Hangs on. Munchie Shuford to the 48 of Utah State. Brady on the tackle. Coach Mack loves this kid. He played every sport in high school.
That is what you call an athlete. He wants it all, but what I like about this, they're going no huddle quick, and hoped to zip that ball in there. He saw the coverage, saw the hole, and got the ball in.
Out of the gun this time. Handoff, running to the near side. And not a lot available that time for Collins. And here comes a late penalty flag. Collins got a couple down to the 46, and a flag came flying late.
This defense is just swarming the ball. They are playing with force and veracity, trying to impose their will on Weber State right now.
Penalty, automatic first down.
Trying to go to no huddle, the running. He's getting to the side, dancing a little bit, and that's what you want to do as a defense, make the running back go sideways. That's a little hard to figure out there as a late hit. It looks like the guy wasn't completely down yet, but the officials must have saw something.
15 yards, tack it on to the 30-yard line. This is a physical football game. We know the mindset of the coaches. They come right at you with their physical mindset on both sides of the ball, and that is translated to the players in this one. 3-0. Wildcats continue the drive from the 30. Swinging out to Shuford. Option pass, and it's caught by Rott at the 10. And Rott takes it down to the goal line. He's inside the 1. A wide receiver option pass. Shuford to Rott. Gallagher on the tackle. First and goal.
Talk about guys being pumped up. This Weber State bench is jumping up and down. They set him up because of the aggressiveness of this defense. The DB didn't keep his job. Wagner comes in there. You see, fakes it, pulls everybody up. A lefty gets up in the air, allows for the play to be made. He tries to get in the end zone, but he can't do it.
Coach Mack said he didn't have a lot in his bag of tricks to throw at Gary Anderson. Well, I think he was pulling our leg. You know, through the years, he's pulled out several of these. I seem to remember a game where Utah beat Kansas back when he was coach at Utah. They pulled a play out of the book. He can surprise any coach with his abilities as a play caller.
Well, that's the thing about it that can work to your advantage or disadvantage. You think you know everything that the old ball coach has taught you, but then all of a sudden he pulls something that you wouldn't think that he would do. And it's almost like playing chess against your master, and you think you know everything the master's going to do, but all of a sudden he's like, oh, no. So it's very exciting.
Now, this is under review. They want to make sure this was a lateral before the pass by Shuford. Was it behind the line?
Yes, he definitely, in my opinion, it was behind the line because from where we are in the booth, we can look straight down and see that. So I'm not sure what other view that they're going to have, but when you look at our view, you can see it. I thought that he might have got into the end zone there if somebody was underneath. But
well, the other question is, did the knee go down before the ball crossed the plane? So we've got a couple different things to look at here.
And that's what I'm thinking. But
that's what they're looking at, the goal line play. The goal line, they're going to mark it inside the 1. They have finished the review. It will be first and goal.
But you'll see that right here that is right behind. A little bit better throw he probably would have got there. Lefty just got it up. I tell you one thing, in film study, they're going to give him so much crap for not getting that ball out there long enough. I thought he got in the end zone on the end of that play. To me, it looks like his knee doesn't touch down, but it looks like he got in the end zone.
And there is a flag before the snap of the football inside the 1. It's out the back of the end zone. Let's sort this out.
Too many men in the defensive line, defense, I believe.
It will. Jim Farmer is going to let us know here.
Because Coach Anderson was yelling at somebody that was
there is no flag on the play. It's first down.
All right, the review is it is first down inside the 1. Hines, the running back behind Tolotau, the fullback. Wildcats trying to take the lead here late in the first quarter. Hoke, Hines, straight ahead, goes up top. Is he in? He is. Touchdown, Weber State. The near side judge with the call, 6-3 Wildcats as the true freshman, the Utah Class 5 MVP from 2009, puts him on the board.
Tanner Hines used the ability and strength and just said, hey, I'm getting in the end zone. And that's what you have to do when you're on the road. You line up, allow guys to make plays, and that's exactly what happened right now. You're on the 2-yard line, line up and just knock them back and get in the end zone.
Sean McClain for the extra point, 2 out of 3 against Wyoming. knocks it through there, and it's 7-3 Wildcats. Saw a little bit of everything on that drive. They mixed it up.
A little bit, and that's what you have to do because this Utah State defense was coming after you. Defensive coordinator Gary Anderson, who's also the head coach, was dialing up a lot of pressure to try to get them back. And you'll see right here, just good blocking up front, and he just goes up high, crosses the goal with the ball. Tanner Hines, once the ball crosses, it is a score. All you have to do is break the plane, and that's exactly what happened right there. That ball broke the plane, and that's a touchdown.
Tanner Hines in front of the blocking of that guy, number 42, Tulatau, in for the touchdown. And, you know, they have a good stable of backs at Weber State. We talked about Booker, their starter, but Hines, a true freshman, comes from a football family. Two younger brothers, football players. His younger brother Troy committed to BYU, a defensive lineman. His uncle Dan, the head coach at Desert Vista, a powerhouse program in Arizona. And he gets his team on the board. 7-3, the visitors in front from Ogden.
What you want to do, you want to get some points on the board. It's nice to get that first touchdown when you hold the other team to a field goal.
End over end kick into the hands of Kerwin Williams, the dangerous speedster across the 25, and tackled at the 27-yard line. Tackle made by Devin Pugh. So the Aggies trailing for the first time will go to work. Late moments here in the first quarter.
Now here's the hard part. Weber State goes up and loses to Wyoming in a game that they felt they should have won. They are at a certain high. Utah State goes into Auburn, has them beat, puts them at a higher high. Right now, they have to shake that off to get back focused.
Had some success with a hurry-up offense in the last series from the 27. Keaton in the flat. Catch made by Jacobs. And a nice move close to a first down across the 37-yard line. Gabe Bowers on the tackle. Potential deep threat. He's a junior college guy out of Richmond, California.
And I saw that bubble screen happening. Both of these teams like to use, in fact, all of college sports right now, that bubble screen is huge. It's running a bunch of different variations. Receiver, as you saw in that play, he motioned towards it. Sometimes they motion into it. But it's an extension of the running game is what that play is.
Keaton trying to get the snap of the football here before the end of the quarter, and he won't be able to do it. And that will be one quarter complete here from Logan, Utah. A defensive battle between the Wildcats and the Aggies. Aggies getting on the board with a field goal. Weber State answering on a Tanner Hines touchdown run. Second quarter coming up. Avoided bad weather here in Utah. Welcome back to Romney Stadium in Logan on the campus of Utah State University as the Weber State Wildcats visit the Aggies of Utah State. Trey Bender along with former San Jose State Spartan Jay Taylor. Glad you're joining us on ESPN3. And this has had coming into this game, it had every makings of being a shootout, a high-scoring game, but defense has been the story thus far.
Both of these defenses played well and stout. It's taken a lot of trickeration and actually to move the ball. But that's a testament to both these defenses being amped up and ready to play.
Start the second quarter with the Aggies at first down at the 37-yard line. Delay into the hands of Turbin, and he gets 2, maybe 3 yards up to the 40-yard line. They've got a target on the back of Robert Turbin, and when you're a Doak Walker candidate, WAC Player of the Year candidate, one of the top rushers in the history of this school, you got to think you keep an eye on number 6.
You definitely have to keep your eye on him. What I'm kind of curious about, though, is when are they going to start to line up more and just start powering the ball and running the ball with him?
Well, good point. Now they've got a 5-receiver look. 4 to the left side, no backs, and there's a pass that's through the hands of Jacobs and incomplete. It appeared for a moment it might be a lateral. They'll call it an incomplete pass. Nick Webb there on the coverage.
I just talked earlier about these bubble screens. That was another form of bubble screen. They motioned Turbin out. Actually, Turbin lined up out there. He was blocking. They just tried a different way of doing a bubble screen. I honestly think right now you need to use your advantage, your offensive line. You ran the ball so well last week against Auburn, against a much bigger and aggressive front than what you're playing with Weber State right now. I would think you would just line up first, second, and third down and try to control the game.
Yeah, Turbin had 70 yards and a couple touchdowns against the Tigers. And they're taking a look, I think, to see if this is a lateral here. They ruled it an incomplete pass.
Yeah, it was ruled incomplete.
The last play is under further review.
See, he steps back. It's hard to tell in that view if he does throw it back a yard, that would have been a lateral versus straight down the line. It's hard to say. But Weber State, as well as Utah State, they're defending this bubble screen well, because what you do is you put more guys in that open area than what the offense can attest for. So if they put 3 guys out there, you put 4 guys out there so that one guy will spring free to come make that tackle, because he has to go backwards. But again, that's why Weber State was able to throw that pass, is because they sucked up everybody and they went over top.
They're still reviewing whether this was a lateral. The pass by Keaton out in the flat, was it behind the line of scrimmage or an incomplete pass? It was at first ruled an incomplete pass, so they need enough sufficient evidence to overturn that. As this, they'll continue to look at this here. I'm a little bit surprised as you are. Both of these coaches said to us, our identity is running the football, the power game. We've not seen a lot of that here in the first half.
And it shocks me too, because I can understand Weber State maybe need to switch up a little bit. But Utah State, you ran so well last week. Why won't you stick with that first? Because the more you stick with that, that will open up the passing game.
After further review, the pass was rolled as backwards. The ball was then muffed. The defense recovered the football. Ball belongs to Weber State.
So a big turn of events here early in the second quarter. Essentially a fumble, a lateral pass recovered by the Wildcats, and a costly turnover.
And that is also the hard part about doing these bubble screens, because when the defense can put one more guy over there that frees up to get in the backfield, it can cause fumbles just like this.
There was only Utah State had no turnovers last week at Auburn. Weber State just had a fumble, and this is the very costly turnover for the Aggies in their own territory, and the Wildcats will take over at the 37. Single back is Booker. Hoke with a pump fake. Pressure coming. Sack back at the 49-yard line. Bobby Wagner was in there first, and he got some help from his friends. Lapuahu and Alexander in there as well. Big loss back to the 47.
Head coach, defensive coordinator Gary Anderson dialed up some inside pressure blitz in that kind of situation. Wichita State tried to do a pump and go, and because the blitz was coming, they had no opportunity to get that. That's just overpowering that front right there, Weber State.
Lost back to the 48. They marked him down there. 11-yard loss, 2nd and 21 now. Trips to the left side. Hoke throwing that way. Munchie Shuford to the sideline, out of bounds to the 43-yard line. Pickup of 5. Nevin Lawson, the sophomore corner, on the tackle.
Another bubble screen. It's just an extension of the run is what it is, but it has to be done in such a way that turnovers can happen just like that. This offensive line's got to step up a little bit to help Mike Hoke out. He's limping around a little bit because of that pressure they're starting to put on him.
Hoke had 314 yards against Wyoming last week, starting to heat up a little bit here, but facing a 3rd and 16. Time in the pocket. Now he's pressured, and he shovels it ahead to the running back, Tuckett, and he gets a little yardage to the 42-yard line. Boy, they were lucky they didn't turn it over right there. Boje Filimoyatu with the pass rush that time.
Boje shows you what you're supposed to do. Look at the bottom of your screen. He gets cut blocked. He doesn't stop. He gets tripped, and now he crawls to get to the quarterback. That's what you want. Smart play by Hoke getting it out of there, but the tenacity to not be stopped. I want that quarterback. That's exactly what Boje just did.
Great play there. Great effort. And now Kiala Makia will try to pin him back. Moats, the punt return man, will let it hit. Takes a backwards hop, and it's down by the Wildcats at the 8-yard line. excellent punting from both sides. And Weber State, the underdog, the FCS opponent, the visitor from near Wildcats and the Aggies, and a good one here early second quarter. 12:42 to go before halftime. Aggies have the football after getting pinned deep by a Keela Makia punt. Hand off to Turbin right up the gut, and he slams it across the 15-yard line. Pickup of close to 7. Nick Webb on the tackle. This is the type of smash mouth style you expect to see from the Aggies with Turbin, the guy that gets most of the carries.
And this guy, I think of him more like Emmitt Smith in the way he runs when you look at what he can do.
Blockers in front, across the 30, a big first down carry to the 31. Aquanu on the tackle, and he's one of those guys that loves the carries. The more he gets, the better he gets as the game wears on.
And that's why when we asked him, he talked about Reggie Bush and some of these other guys that he kind of modeled himself after a little bit. But to me, he reminds me a lot of Emmitt Smith, just the fact that as the game progresses, he just continues to get more and more yards.
First down at the 31 now. Turbin will come out of the game. Kerwin Williams is now in at the running back spot. They'll run option with Keaton. Cuts it up. Keaton spins and is hit hard as he takes it across the 40-yard line. Anthony Morales, one of their captains on the play, the middle linebacker. Keaton showing his ability there in the open field. You can see his potential.
Anthony Morales said, come here, let me give you a little kiss in this play right here. You can see Chucky do a good job, responsibility, hold the ball, and here's a little kiss. Oh, right there was the kiss. But
and here's Smith with some room, and he turns the corner. Michael Smith's going to go. Touchdown, Aggies.
This is what happens when you run the ball like you're supposed to, just like they did last week against Auburn. You have to impose your will on that defensive front seven. Utah State just did that, and you're seeing a nice run by Michael Smith as he just, nice pulling guards, get out there, seals the side, right there's a seal block, and he's gone. Down the sideline, uses his speed, ability. Weber State's not going to catch him. Get to the end zone for a nice long score.
Extra point is good from Thompson. 3 carries, 91 yards for Smith. The senior from Tucson has given the Aggies the lead. They showed a lot of 3 and 4 receiver sets early. Now the power game comes into play for Gary Anderson. 10-7 home team. First lead for Utah State thanks to a 59-yard touchdown run for Michael Smith. They're in front now by 3. Jacob Howder has it teed up, their kickoff specialist. And the Wildcats trailing for the first time. On the receiving end, Chris Parham, 2 yards deep in his own end zone. And he's going to get an opportunity from the goal line. Parham, blockers in front, 35, and Parham bumped out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Parham showing some speed there as a tackle was made by Gavin Jones. Let's take a look at that last run by Smith. Nothing inside, took it outside.
Look at right guard, Philip Napaloo. Seal as he gets on the outside there. Right there, that last block, that's what allowed him to spring to the sideline. Michael Smith using his speed. That redshirt senior and the receivers doing a good job getting that edge so that the running back can get outside.
His brother Xavier played football for the University of Arizona, trying to have a stalwart senior campaign. Could be a big year for Utah State if they can get production from those 3 guys in the backfield. Handoff straight ahead, and a nice gain for the Wildcats as they go with Booker, Bowden on the tackle, and they want to maybe play a little power football here, and that's Barrington Collins, a true freshman on the carry that time. And now Jakiki Timoteo, the sophomore from Hawaii, slow getting up, the right guard.
This offensive line took onus of what just happened in the series before for Utah State. Look at them blow this seal right there. He can drive a Mack truck through that hole right now. Me with my busted legs could get through that hole.
Maybe even you, yeah. And now this is a guy that can afford to lose. Timoteo, the cousin of the right tackle Titan Timoteo. He's a 6'3", 310-pounder that was a starter last year, and he'll have to come off the field.
Can you imagine Thanksgiving dinner with those 2 boys at the table?
A lot of pineapple, a lot of pork. Those meals are big meals. Yeah, you better show up early and get what you can. Second down and a yard. Turner is now in at the right guard spot. Justin Turner. Hoke wants to throw it. Here's Collins out of the backfield. Spin move. It's good enough for the first down. Just slipped the tackle of Gallagher. You got a piece of him to knock him down, and they move the chains.
Gallagher, the senior, has been on this team for a very long time. Very efficient in his tackling in the open field and made a good play right there.
Mateo back in it there at the right guard spot, and Booker comes in for Collins. Here's a handoff, and not much available as Hoke keeps it instead for a yard. Alexander on the tackle. By the way, Michael Smith's touchdown run, officially 60 yards, a career long. Longest run by an Aggies running back since Robert Turbin's school record 96-yarder back in 2009. So they finally get a big run. They didn't have a lot of big runs last year, and they didn't have many last week at Auburn. From the gun on 2nd and 9. Hoke downfield, and he overshoots his intended receiver. He wanted Shuford. Good coverage applied by Nevin Lawson.
Hoke may be upset, but it's a good thing he missed through that. The defense looked like it was going to be a blitz. He tried to get people in right position, but then it turned out to be a zone. And that's the thing about the 3-4. That's why a lot of NFL teams have been switching to it. Colleges are starting to do it because you can give different looks to the quarterback to make him think you're coming and then drop an 8 into the backfield.
Yeah, they were 4-3 last year, 3-4 this year. Gary Anderson taking over as defensive coordinator as well as head coach to run that 3-4. Now we have penalty flags all over the football field.
And when you have linebackers like they do that are very athletic, the 3-4 is a better scheme for you.
3 flags littering the field here.
Offsides defense, number 55. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
It's Fili Moyatu is going to be the guy that they call out, but it could have been a number of guys.
It could have been the entire front 7. Somebody yelled dinner, and they're all at the line ready to come on in. That's a good hard count by Hoke to pull him off. Seeing it, using it to his advantage.
Different kind of invitation from the T. Mateo brothers there on the front wall. 3rd down now. 3rd and 4 at the 42. A little bit more manageable situation for Hoke. It's Rott. And he's hammered near the stick at the 38. Bobby Wagner put a big hit on him, and I don't know if he got there.
Austin Rott was trying to find a small seam to get up there, and he could not do it when you're going against Mr. Wagner. Bobby Wagner, 6'1", 232 senior. He says, come on, hello, let me introduce you to my neighborhood. Just lays into him. Nice form tackle. Chest on chest, what you want to do.
Led the WAC in tackles a year ago, 7th in the FBS at over 11 tackles per game, keeping him short of the stick. And on a 4th and 1, another flag in the defensive backfield of Utah State now. Boy, we've seen personal foul penalties here in the first half. What's this one?
Penalty results in a 1st down.
That's an illegal substitution penalty, and on a 4th and 1, that'll move the chains to the 34.
And that happened because Weber State went for it, and doing it with no huddle forced the defense to have to make up, and that's what happened. They had too many people on the field.
The drive continues. Under 9 minutes to go, 2nd quarter. Handoff to Collins. Bounces outside. He's to the 25, and a 1st down as he leaps out of bounds to the 23-yard line. Bowden on the tackle. Barrington Collins, a guy that did not have a carry last week, a true freshman, has been an impact player in this one.
And sometimes that happens. You're looking at a young kid, quick speed. They don't know much about him. Look at the ability to get outside quickly, burst the speed. He is their version of Kerwin Williams.
Yeah, he's not a big guy, but very quick. Here's a delay to Collins. This time they swarm on him, and that'll be a loss of a yard or so. Lapuaho, the junior nose guard, met him in the hole. And Garner.
Right now it's a little bit hard. The defense is believing the running backs getting the ball because Mike Hoke is limping around out there. And when he's limping around, you can see that's as a defense, you know he may not be able to run. And so you're able to tee off and know that when he does that option fake, he's not keeping it, he's handing it to somebody else.
This team won the battle against Wyoming in terms of total yardage, rushing yardage, first down, and they're taking that right to Utah State right here in week number 2 as well. 2nd and 10. Hoke setting up the screen into the hands of Booker. Hit, breaks through the tackle, and then hammered out of bounds by Gallagher at the 20, or inside the 20 at the 18-yard line. There's some hitting going on.
There's some hitting, but Robertson, your left corner there, should have had that tackle, missed that tackle, which allowed that to be a longer gain. That should have been a tackle for only maybe a gain of 1 or 2 tops, not what they got.
3rd and 5 at the 18. In field goal range, that would tie it, but they want to keep this drive going. It's been a good one. Play fake this time. Hoke to a wide open receiver. It's caught inside the 10 and out of bounds. And the catch is made by Jordan Clemente, the tight end, and they'll have a 1st and goal. McClinton on the tackle.
They're rolling people out that has not been seen. That's making a big difference because Utah State doesn't know what's going to happen.
They convert right there on a 3rd down. 1st and goal at the 6. This time Clemente in motion. Fake to him this time. Hoke setting up the middle screen. Touchdown Weber State. Caught by Tyrell Francisco, their 3rd-string tight end, and they're back in front.
Big difference, big difference. The way they switch those plays up, the little bubble screen here, bubble screen there, seal off blocks. They put together a good drive. They answered the fact that they gave up that long 60-yard run by going down and putting the score on the board themselves.
Francisco out of British Columbia, his first catch. 2 years ago, he caught 12 balls, but he missed last season with a torn Achilles, and the extra point is through there for McLean, and Weber State back in front, 14-10. How about that drive for the Wildcats? They mix the run and the pass in the middle screen. Beautiful sunset here in northern Utah. Weber State back in front after a touchdown catch by Tyrell Francisco. And the Wildcats, after nearly knocking off Wyoming, are giving Utah State fits as they will kick it away. It'll be Williams. He'll have an opportunity 2 yards deep. Across the 20 and tackled at the 27-yard line. How about that middle screen capping off an impressive drive from McBride's crew? They got it done.
When you do all the things they were doing, and you're going to see, you did bootlegs and screen, you see it on the right side of your screen, as Tyrell Francisco comes in, it's wide open because of the fact that they did a couple bootlegs earlier in the series and a couple outside bubble screens. It pulled that out, opened it up so they were able to do that play.
The Aggies, an impressive drive on their last series. A Michael Smith 59-yard touchdown run, but Weber State answers, and they'll go Wildcat formation into the hands of Turbin, the direct snap, and Turbin's across the 35, and a gain of close to 8 yards to the 36-yard line. Why hand it off? Get it to Turbin a little bit quicker.
And that's what I'm trying to understand a little bit. You were so effective, and granted, they just had a 60-yard run the last one before, but why isn't Turbin getting the ball more? Is he injured? Is he hurt? This guy is a beast. He's a workload, and as the game progresses, the more carries he gets, the better he gets. So I'm a little bit curious of why he's not carrying the ball so much right now.
They've shown a lot of different looks. The power game was big on the last series. Let's see if they keep it on the ground here as they send Lloyd, the tight end, in motion. Keaton on a play fake. Pressure coming, and he's going to be sacked back at the 25, and the ball comes free. The ball is loose. Morales got in there on the sack, and it appears that the Wildcats have the football. They do at the 24-yard line.
Turn of events, turnovers are starting to wreak havoc on Utah State right now. The last turnover, this defense is able to be stout and shut it down, but you're going to see number 46, Trevor Fletcher, coming from the left side. Just outpowers the tight end, gets in there, strips the ball out, causes that turnover. I'm sorry, but that's number 16.
Well, it was Fletcher and Morales both in there. They both made contact.
And that's huge. To get a turnover on the opponent's side of the field. Now you know for sure you at least can get 3 but you'd like to get 7.
6:14 to go before halftime. Coach McBride's team rolling the dice on D and coming up big, forcing the turnover. Hoke on a play fake into the slot. It's caught by the tight end Clemente, and he's close to a first down inside the 15-yard line. Flag on the field, so hold on.
Right now, Weber State momentum is going on their side. The Big Mo, they're taking advantage of it. This bootleg screens are just not being stopped. Coach Anderson is going to have to figure out a way to get them in the right defense so that that does not happen.
Pass interference offense, number 84. 15 yards from the previous spot, remains first down.
That's Austin Rott, the senior from far west Utah.
You're going to see there's the bootleg action, and he comes right in and just takes out the DB. And you cannot do that. It would be considered a pick, and it's illegal. It just took the DB out. That's a fierce hit. The bootleg's been working well for you, but you didn't have to do that in order to make it
I was laughing because I saw the look in your eyes being a former DB.
I've been hit like that a couple times. It's not nice.
15-yard penalty, a costly one, takes him out of field goal range. 1st and 25 now at the 39 for Weber State. Hoke trying to set up the screen, and it's incomplete. Just dumped it as Xavier Johnson was in the general area.
There was
Wagner
an
was in the
eligible
backfield.
receiver in the area.
Well, what's happening right now?
This is incomplete.
What's
There was
happening
an
right now
eligible receiver in the area.
is Weber State's been very effective on the screens, but Utah State is starting to figure it out that, you know what, all you're doing is play actions a little bit and trying to get to the outside. So they're getting smarter, and the defense is staying home. They're staying disciplined, and that's why that happened.
On 2nd and 25 now, Hoke to the far sideline, and the catch made by Johnson this time. Out of bounds to the 34, pickup of 5. Alexander over there on the coverage. Johnson, National Freshman of the Week at the FCS level last week. 7 catches, 118 yards, couple touchdowns in his first college game against Wyoming. There are a lot of young guys on both sides that are going to have star careers, it appears.
Well, that's the whole thing about it, too, that Coach McBride talked about, the fact that this team is young. That's why he felt they lost that game last week, because of this youth. So maybe they learned from what happened last week to carry over to this week.
3rd and 20 now. Hoke going to be short of the stick. It does get them into field goal range as the catch is made by Johnson, tackled at the 28-yard line. So they had 25 yards to make in 3 downs. They did get a big chunk of that back, and that at least brings out McLean for a field goal opportunity.
You don't want to waste the turnover. You get a turnover in your opponent's side of the field. You start it out in field goal position. You finish it off in field goal position. See if you can get that 3 points on the road added.
Out of the hold of Austin Rott, their receiver who doubles as a holder. 45-yard attempt for the left footer, the sophomore from Redland, California. He's 2 of 3 on the year. Kick on the way, plenty of leg, and the kick is good. So Weber State adds to their lead here with under 5 minutes to go before halftime.
7-point lead right now on the road. You're putting your opponent in a little bit of shock position, making them play out of their box. I honestly think Utah State has to get back to what they did when they're on the road last week. Don't try to be cute and fancy, just run. Weber State, keep doing what you're doing. Stretch them out, make them play on the back of their legs.
Well, you know, we talked about Utah State and their effort at Auburn. Weber State almost had a win at Wyoming, and what can they do in this Big Sky? We've seen some of these Big Sky teams in the past. Montana State, Eastern Washington, very good league. They're going to face a team next week in Sacramento State that knocked off Oregon State. It's a league that doesn't get the credit maybe it deserves.
Definitely does not get the credit, because when you look at all these FCS schools, they can play you tough maybe once or twice, and that's exactly when you go up and down, not just in this conference, but nationwide. You're seeing upsets by FCS over Division I schools.
You saw it?
Yeah, last week Richmond knocked off Duke. When you play sound, technically, that's offense, defense, special teams. You block, you tackle, you have a chance to win a game.
That game on ESPN3 last week, Jay had a chance to see that one in Durham. The kickoff into the hands of the deep man and taken out across the 20-yard line. Chris Harris knocked down at the 30, and that's where they marked the football, 1st and 10.
And the big thing about games like this, you're playing somebody, basically you're playing your little brother that lives down the street. And that's kind of what's going on right now. They're playing a team that literally is down the street. They're considered the little brother, and you're handing it to them right now.
Gary Anderson, though, he wasn't fooled. He knew that they'd have a battle on their hands, especially after watching tape of that Wyoming game. First down at the 30. Keaton is going to keep it, and they lost him inside the 45 and out of bounds at the Wildcats 44. Jamie Rigby, the strong safety on the tackle. Great play fake by the freshman. He fooled everybody.
That was a nice offensive play because they set everybody up, did a couple of motions to set that play up to get the edge because they pulled everybody over to the right to allow him to run to the left.
27-yard pickup, first down at the Wildcats 43. Handoff to Turbin. Blockers in front. He slips and goes down just shy of the 40-yard line.
This is a slugfest right now. A lot of people can't see all the little things that are not on camera. But Weber State is not backing down. Call it David and Goliath or whatever you want. But they're standing toe-to-toe trying to team tackle and force Utah State to make a good play every play.
Well, Coach Anderson said they're physical, they run well. Mack has them play with great passion. We're seeing all that in the first half. Here's a toss pitch this time to Turbin. He turns it upfield, and he's inside the 35-yard line. It'll set up a third and short. Jarrett Gooden, the junior corner, on the play.
Turbin, you're seeing a reason why NFL scouts like him. Quick snap right here.
They line up in the bunch set. Pitch to Smith, and he leans forward and appears to have enough for the first down inside the 28-yard line. Second effort, I think, will get him what he needs.
Both teams utilizing no huddle right now to get that advantage because defensively, you know a team's tired, they want to switch people out. So if you go no huddle, it eliminates that.
Now he's going to be short. They mark him just shy, fourth and short, about half a yard. Straight ahead, Smith hit, and he did not get there. He did not get there, blown up by Anthony Morales, the middle linebacker. He met him head on, and now there's some talking going on both sides as this thing already has had enough passion in the first half, and it's gone to the next level.
Weber State right now is not backing down. They're saying fourth down, you're going to go for it? Look at Morales, just come up in there, shed the block, and step up in there. He did a good job shedding the block, getting off of Oscar Molina Sanchez, the 6'5", 287 junior. Anthony Morales, only 6 foot, 230. Gets underneath the pads, shakes him off, makes the tackle, forces the fourth down turnover.
One of 13 players from Oklahoma, one of their team captains, and he forces them to turn it over on downs. Plenty of time, 3 minutes. And a second to work with from the 34 for the Wildcats to try to add to their lead. Inside handoff up to the 37-yard line. And a short gain that time.
The only issue.
As Bobby Wagner on the tackle of Barrington Collins.
Sorry about that. The only issue I have with the way that ended, take your time. It's fourth down. You got a big offensive line. Take your time, set up. Allow them to get the hat on the hat.
Play action fake. Tight end this time, Jankowski, and he's leveled by Wagner at the 41. Boy, Wagner, there's nothing passive about the way he plays football.
We've been watching this guy the past 3 years. He will be playing at the next level. He is very ferocious. He can play on the line. He can play in space. And the guy doesn't miss. When he comes to hit you, it's like a heat-seeking missile. He's going to put you down.
National award candidate, all the lists. You can put them all up there. Third down now. And 3 at the 41. Aggies want to get it back, try to score before the break. And now a timeout called by Utah State.
Timeout. Utah State. They have one timeout remaining.
Gary Anderson has a battle on his hands here after the loss to Auburn in week 1. And, you know, they don't shy away from anybody. You know, you go to Auburn. You've got Wyoming coming up, and I know Boise State not in the WAC this year, but there's some tough road trips. Fresno State and Hawaii, it's not easy for anybody going to those places.
Never easy. Hawaii with Moniz over there plays you well, and Fresno State will play anybody, anywhere, and will always play them tough. And so those are tough games. And then they get to go down to BYU. They had that nice upset of BYU last year. BYU's not going to let them sneak up on them this time. This program has really grown. Coach Anderson's done a lot of great things, got some really good talent. You could tell just by the fact, by the quarterback that they brought in, Chucky, and what he's been getting done. So this team is definitely on the rise. Again, I just go back to some of these play calls. That fourth down situation, you have Turbin, take your time, line up, let your star back get you that first down.
And, of course, they own the old wagon wheel after beating BYU for the first time since 1993. BYU, by the way, beating Texas today. They're in front by a field goal in that one. 3rd down and 3. Over the middle, and it's incomplete. That one zipped across the middle, and I think Johnson might have heard footsteps. Robertson was in the area.
Robertson did an excellent job as a defensive player by going over the shoulder, stripping that ball out. The receiver had it in his hands, but because he came in and ripped that arm out, that allowed that ball to drop. And you're going to see right here, as Hope drops back, a little bit of pressure, gets it out. But the receiver had no chance of holding on to that ball because Robertson stepped in there.
1:53 to go. And the Aggies are going to get it back here. Kialamakia. Low line drive kick. It's caught by Williams. Williams across the 30. Williams to the 40. Look out. Williams turns the corner, and he's bumped out of bounds at the 43-yard line. Kerwin Williams, one of the top returners in college football. Last year, an FBS record for kick return yardage.
Kerwin Williams is showing why teams don't like to kick to him, because this is what will happen. He gets so much positive yards after he gets hit. And it's amazing to me when you look at the guy, he's only 184 pounds, but he bounces off of people like it's nobody's business.
Junior from Las Vegas, Nevada. He and Turbin, both juniors, will both be back next year. First down at the 42-yard line. Plenty of time. And Utah State has a timeout remaining. And now we have penalty flags. They're going to blow this play dead. Motion on the Aggies.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 4, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
That's Matt Austin, the junior, wide receiver, the guilty party.
Gary Anderson cannot be happy about the way this game has gone this first half. Every time his team makes a big play, they seem to make a penalty to back it up.
Yeah, that is 7 penalties against the Aggies in the first half. Keaton has time. Over the middle. Catch made inside the 40. And tackled immediately there is Stanley Morrison. And it'll be Anthony Morales on another tackle.
And he tackled him with Ross. These guys don't like each other. They haven't played in 10 years, but you never know it.
2nd and 7. Keaton quickly now. Downfield and almost intercepted. Intended for Austin. And that should have been picked off. Devin Pugh in the area. And Gooden as well, the other corner, Jarrett Gooden. Gooden got his hands on it and should have had a pick.
It looked like it was a cover 2. His receiver went to the flat, and so he came off, came right underneath. Should have had that interception, but it didn't happen.
3rd and 7 now. 3 receivers to the near side. Austin split to the top. Morrison in motion. Keaton plenty of time. Downfield, Moats has it as a first down grab to the 14-yard line. Rigby, the strong safety on the tackle, and that was a strike. Keaton showing off his arm right there.
Keaton surely did. Striking that ball to Eric Moats, gave him position to throw that ball, caught it with his hands away from his body to make sure he get the catch.
Looking for the tying score inside a minute to go. Now a delay to Turbin, has a seam, and Turbin takes it inside the pylon for the touchdown.
That is what you call a counter action. Quarterback runs the opposite direction, making the defense think that it's going that way. Turbin cuts back to the right side. You're going to see right here, it makes you think you're going to go to the left. They come back to the right, create that natural seam. Turbin just using his speed and ability to get in that end zone. The kind of play that they needed because they had this defense on its heels.
Josh Thompson ties it up with a PAT. 23 career touchdowns for Robert Turbin. Well-conceived play right there.
Watch Eric Schultz and Philip Napaloo on the right side seal that off, allow him that seam. And when you see the reaction right here, watch as the quarterback goes left, how everybody goes to the right with him. And as that happens, he's able to cut back to the right to that natural seam right there and get in the end zone. Basically, the defense didn't stay in their lanes, and the offense capitalized on it.
And the drive is 4 plays, 42 yards. Big reason for the score, the Kerwin Williams return. That set it up, and we're all even.
Isn't this interesting? Last week, the teams lost because of special teams players, especially Utah State. This game, special teams play has been stellar on both sides.
No doubt about it.
The returns have been great.
The punts.
The punts have been great because I think that's a forgotten piece of the game, especially when you're on the road. Offense and defense is important, but special teams will get you field position, and field position leads to points.
Well, and you know there was an emphasis from coaches Anderson and McBride after what they saw in week 1, and it has paid off in that category. And we've got a good one here with 53 seconds to go, all even at 17. Howder to kick it away, and still some time for the Wildcats to get on the board again. Parham fumbles the football, and fighting with a teammate for it at the 17, and they, I still believe, have it right there. It was an adventure.
That was a mishap of the nth degree, especially the fact that you just gave up a score and a touchdown. You don't want to create a turnover inside the 20 to give them another opportunity at that. That was miscommunication, and you can't allow that to happen.
J.D. Ogilvie for the Aggies was in there trying to grab the football, but the Wildcats will have it. And with 3 timeouts, let's see how they play it here. Do you play it close to the vest, go into the half in a tie game, or take a shot down the field? You're going to run it straight ahead. And there's the answer, I believe, as Lapuahu shuts down Booker at the line of scrimmage.
You don't want to take too much of a chance right here. It's one of those things, if a run was to break off and you got 30 yards, and yeah, you may be a little aggressive. But the momentum right now is swayed back to Utah State. You don't want to take a chance of giving up another score before the half.
Jason Fanica on the field, the sophomore for the Aggies. They expect big things from him on as an edge rusher. They had planned to go on a 2-year LDS mission, changed his mind. He's on the field, number 18, in a standing position at the end spot right now. Handoff to Booker again, running left, slips one tackle, and he's out to the 24-yard line. That'll be the final play of this first half. Kyle Gallagher on the tackle. A lot of big plays here in the first half. Defense was the story early on, but again, special teams plays have been big, and we've got a barn burner here.
I think special teams have probably been the biggest part of the first half so far, because in 2 instances it's pinned teams back inside the 5-yard line, giving them that long distance. And then also on the other side of it, though, in the return game, it's also with the big Kerwin Williams with what he's done, allowing these big returns, putting your team in a good position to put points on the board.
All even at 17. That'll do it for the first half from Logan. Weber State 17, Utah State 17. We'll be back with the second half in approximately 20 minutes. You're watching college football on ESPN3.